Welcome back to the Arise interview. I'm Charles Goulden. Now let's head off into space because he isn't exploring strange new worlds. He's finally blasted off from this one. And we're talking about William Shatner, who was Captain James Kirk in Star Trek. Of course, for decades he played a character synonymous with space exploration. Now he's boldly gone where no living sci-fi star has gone before. And at 90, he's become the oldest person ever to travel to space. The trip has been funded by Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. And here's what Star Trek's most iconic captain had to say about what it means to him to actually go to space, the final frontier.
I'm going up into space. I don't know how many people can say that. It's life-changing in its way. Not because of the aerial adventure, but because of the people I'm meeting and talking with.
I'm glad to be here.
Jeff Bezos' concept to make living and building in space and to make pollution a thing of the past. I mean, what noble ambitions those are, and somebody has to start it.
Lines upright. Yep.
We're just at the beginning, but how miraculous that beginning is, and how extraordinary it is to be part of that beginning. There is this mystique of being in space and that much closer to the stars and being weightless. I shall be entranced by the view of space.
Brilliant, isn't it? And Arise correspondent Judita Dasilva has been keeping an eye on the launch pad in Texas, and she joins me now for more. Great to see you, Judita. So looking as cool and calm as Captain Kirk does when entering the Starship Enterprise, William Shatner boards Blue Origin spaceship rocket, a nonagenarian. How remarkable is that?
That is truly remarkable. And I can tell you, there's the big fight between Star Wars and Star Trek. I pledge allegiance to Star Trek. I always have. I may have been a new generation baby, but everyone knows about Gene Roddenberry's original series starring James T. Kirk. So for the fan faithful, they're besides themselves. And to have James T. Kirk, William Shatner at 90 years old, becoming the new oldest person to go into space, because Blue Origin already hit that landmark with their last flight last month with Wally Funk, who did so at 82 years old. So Blue Origin is already making their stamp on this space race as the shuttle into space that hits milestones and has historical passengers.
Well, absolutely. And that gives him a perspective that no other sci-fi star has ever had before, doesn't it? A vision of space, a real vision of space.
Absolutely, because when you think about the people who love space as this fascinating otherworldly body that hovers above all existence, Star Trek was almost like touching something that no one knew. That's why they call it to boldly go where no one has gone before, the final frontier, the undiscovered. And James T. Kirk, as the captain of the Enterprise, represented this bold, fearless being that manifested all of our dreams and fantasies of space. So bringing reality and fiction together by him being the one to do it. And even though he's 90 years old, just as James T. Kirk led the crew of the Enterprise, he led the NS-18 crew to space. And he's bringing this narrative so full circle to make people feel that facts and fiction can be married together in a beautiful, life-changing way.
That's absolutely brilliant, the way that you've described it. And I expect it's quite a good advert for both Star Trek and the Blue Origin brand. As someone said, taking the world of PR to a stratospheric level.
Very much so, because remember that Jeff Bezos made Amazon. So this is the man that knows about branding. He knows about marketing. And even though some tickets are sold, they never make public how much people pay for them, but he chooses the other passengers. And so far, he's managed to hit the first siblings to go to space with him and his brother, Mark Bezos, on the first flight. The youngest passenger with Oliver Damon, who went at 18. Twice the oldest passenger, first Wally Funk and now William Shatner. And also the first paying customer, whose price we don't know what they paid. So He's showing that Blue Origin, with who he chooses as well as who buys tickets, is doing something historical to let you know that every step they take for these first few steps are steps that will go down in history. So Blue Origin is becoming part of the narrative of designing what is going to go down in the history books, as opposed to his competitors, Elon Musk and Richard Branson. And also the fact that they are truly going to the common line, which is seen as the boundary between the Earth's atmosphere and space, which the Virgin Galactic does not do. This is something that he has thought about very carefully, and he's making sure that the narrative that will accompany him on this his mission to space is one that will stand the test of time.
Well, absolutely brilliant. And this is the second, as you said, Blue Origin flight, but it comes after some controversy, with some employees claiming the company has a toxic environment and failed to adhere to proper safety protocols. But of course, accusations that Blue Origin denies.
Yes, they strenuously deny this, because one of the passengers was actually a Blue Origin employee, Audrey Powers, who is vice president of mission and flight operations. And she said that has never been her experience. And they've taken very, very, very particular care from the beginning right up to now with their safety measures. All of those allegations were made anonymously, so we don't know what kind of internal regulatory system they have in place. But so far, I think that was probably why she was picked as one of the passengers, to have someone internal show the face of both Blue Origin as a company, as well as one that's saying normal people with normal everyday 9-to-5 jobs will get seats on this. Granted, it is the billionaires and millionaires joyride at the moment, but what Jeff Bezos is aiming for is that space is something that needs to open up to everyone. So they need to deal with the bad press of them having an allegedly toxic environment, because you don't want to have these bold steps you're taking accompanied by such a negative perception of the company itself making those steps.
Well, absolutely. Somebody described it all as a billionaire's rocket-fueled ego trip. But I mean, just returning to William Shatner, I mean, it's been a long time coming for him, hasn't it? As he said, he's finally fulfilled his fantasy of becoming a real rocket man.
Yes, he has. And I think that's what warms everyone's heart, because I've grown up with him. So many people have grown up with William Shatner. And to see him be that, almost like that giddy child having a dream come true, feels like we're doing it through him and with him. And he actually admitted in a conference at Comic-Con that he's terrified, because he's old enough to remember the 1986 Challenger mission that was a disaster that killed every astronaut on board. But he braved through his fears to do this thing that he's always wanted to do. And he's done so successfully. And just hearing the hyperbolic way he described seeing the blue of the higher levels of Earth and seeing the black of space, he talks like everyday people would talk. He's excited about it. He's had something life-changing. And you're not too old to be giddy and to be excited about your dreams coming true. It makes it human. It makes it accessible. And it gets all of us excited that one day, us poor normal folk might be able to have that same experience.
Judita, thank you very much indeed, giving us a good sense there now of life imitating art. Judita Dasilva in London. That's it for this edition of the Arise interview. Join us again tomorrow from me and the entire team here in Abuja and the UK. Bye-bye, and thank you for watching.